Thanks for staying with us. You're with your community station, right here on 93.6 FM. GBV, gender-based violence, isn't just a woman's issue. It is a human rights violation. Every society in the world is affected, even as we continue the 16 days of activism globally from the 25th of November to the 10th of December. And we remind ourselves that 1 in 3 women worldwide will experience physical or sexual violence in a lifetime. Behind every statistic is a life altered, a future disrupted, and a community impacted. And to empower us further on this subject, we welcome survivor activist and author Lizanne sharing from her book, Loved by Grace Toward a Graceful Purpose. A very warm welcome to you, Lizanne. Thank you so much for making the time once again, right here on GNCR.
Thank you, Venora, and listeners. It's good to be back with you again.
Now, today, Lizanne will be delving into the legal aspects of GBV, and she is joined by one of our founding STEP team member, and she's going to help us with the legal practicalities. So, before you introduce us to our attorney here, I just want to go back to the book, chapter 2 of the book. If you don't mind just reading through that chapter, it's just a few pages, but I thought it's so important and relevant for someone who is the victim, and they going through the stages of the emotions of now coming to the realization that they probably in an abusive, destructive relationship, and just what they go through.
Sure, Venora. So the heading of chapter 2 is titled, It's Okay to Not Be Okay. Okay is whatever I needed to feel at that point in time. I didn't expect people to understand what I was going through, as they had not been in a similar situation to me. I was still trying to figure things out for myself, let alone trying to explain my emotions to those around me. I had to recognize that I was not okay in the moment, but was working towards becoming okay. I had to focus on staying sane and took baby steps towards healing as I felt ready. But I also had to recognize the warning signs of depression. This state that I was in was temporary, and I would come out of it okay. Society places expectations upon us which make us feel inferior. Through advertising, movies, and social media, we are taught that success in every area of our life is a must. Failure is frowned upon by society, yet it is a normal part of life. We all fail at times. Sometimes failure is necessary in order for us to learn and grow. Just because I was in a relationship that was destructive does not mean that I am a failure. Through counseling, I was prepared in advance that I would experience triggers and anniversary days of specific events, especially when there were events that stood out in my heart as life-changing. However unpleasant, they are still a part of my life and will journey with me. They are perfectly normal. Be prepared for the effect that these may have on you, and be gentle on yourself. What you don't see. Your emotional journey is ongoing throughout your entire lifespan. The period of time that you were in a destructive relationship is only a part of your emotional journey. And it is this part of your emotional journey that shapes and forms you into who you are. There are good things that happen in your life as well as bad. Do not focus only on the bad. Choose to be an emotionally stable person. Your mind can guide your emotions in a positive way if you let it. Your spiritual journey is a choice made by you and you alone. No one can force this upon you. For me personally, I found that growth happened with prompting from the Holy Spirit in God's timing. I recognized that God chose me despite my bad choices in life, and He still loves me. Getting to know God's love and having a personal relationship with Him was life-changing and life-sustaining for me. Your mental journey is crucial to your future. Life is a choice, and you need to choose to live. It can become very easy to stagnate and just exist. Apply positive mental power, make use of positive daily affirmations, and choose to exercise for not only physical but also mental stimulation. You are not your destructive relationship. It is but a small part of you for a defined period of time. Don't let it control and haunt you like your partner does or did. You take control of your life. I had to recognize that I was grieving. I was grieving the loss of a life that I once dreamed I would have, but never ended up having. I was grieving the loss of a beautiful relationship I thought I was going to have, but which instead ended up as a nightmare. I was grieving the loss of myself, and I saw myself as a complete failure. What is grief? Throughout life, we experience many instances of grief. Grief can be caused by various situations. Initially, it was believed that the stages of grief happen in linear format, one following from another in a specific order. However, it has since been recognized that the stages of grief are a jumbled-up mess and can happen in any order for any length of time. In 1969, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross described 5 common stages of grief as follows. Denial. Denial is the stage that can initially help you to survive the loss or life-changing situation. You might think life makes no sense, has no meaning, and is too overwhelming. You start to deny the news and, in effect, go numb. It's common in this stage to wonder how life will go on in this different state. You are in a state of shock because life as you once knew it has changed. In the denial stage, you are not living in actual reality. Rather, you are living in a preferable reality. Interestingly, it is denial and shock that help you cope and survive the grief events. Denial aids in pacing your feelings of grief. Instead of becoming completely overwhelmed with grief, we deny it, do not accept it, and stagger its full impact on us at one time. Think of it as your body's natural defense mechanism saying, "Hey, there's only so much I can deal with at once." Once the denial and shock start to fade, the start of the healing process begins. At this point, those feelings that you were once suppressing are coming to the surface. During the initial stages of my healing process, I denied that my ex-husband was abusive. I even defended his actions at times. I was definitely in shock, as I was not yet ready to accept the extent of the abuse or the effects that it had on myself or my children. It was only when I read about narcissism that I understood who I was married to. I denied that I needed help from my support system, and I denied that I needed God. Anger. Once you start to live in actual reality again and not in preferable reality, anger might start to set in. This is a common stage to think, "Why me?" and "Life's not fair." You might look to blame others for the cause of your grief, and you may also redirect your anger to close friends and family. You find it incomprehensible how something like this could happen to you. If you are strong in faith, you might start to question your belief in God. Where is God? Why didn't He protect me? Researchers and mental health professionals agree that this anger is a necessary stage of grief, and they encourage the anger. It's important to truly feel the anger. It's thought that even though you might seem like you are in an endless cycle of anger, it will dissipate. And the more you truly feel the anger, the more quickly it will dissipate, and the more quickly you will heal. It is not healthy to suppress your feelings of anger. It is a natural response, and perhaps, arguably, a necessary one. In everyday life, we are normally told to control our anger toward situations and toward others. When you experience a grief event, you might feel disconnected from reality, that you have no grounding anymore. Your life has shattered and there's nothing solid to hold on to. Think of anger as a strength to bind you to reality. You might feel deserted or abandoned during a grief event, that no one is there. You are alone in this world. The direction of anger towards something or somebody is what might bring you back to reality and connect you to people again. It is a thing. It's something to grasp onto, a natural step in healing. I denied being angry for a long time. However, as I underwent counseling and healing, I gained strength in myself and could only then feel the anger. When my then-husband contested the court order and tried to be awarded custody of the children, I became a tiger. My anger spurred me on to take charge, and it was my anger that actually assisted me in being totally honest about how dire my situation was. My anger kept my children safe. Bargaining. When something bad happens, have you ever caught yourself making a deal with God? Please, God, if you heal my husband, I will strive to be the best wife I can ever be, and never complain again. This is bargaining. In a way, this stage is false hope. You might falsely make yourself believe that you can avoid the grief through a type of negotiation. If you change this, I'll change that. You are so desperate to get your life back to how it was before the grief event that you are willing to make a major life change in an attempt toward normality. Guilt is a common wingman of bargaining. This is when you endure the endless what-if statements. What if I had not met him? What if I said no? What if I just walked away? I was constantly bargaining, pretending that my healing process wasn't really that difficult. I wore my mask of survival well. Every time a child of mine cried for his or her father, I felt guilty and thought that perhaps I had made the wrong choice in taking the children away from their father. Every time I saw the pain in my children's hearts, I doubted my abilities as woman and mother to raise my children by myself. This was agonizing and at times threatened to capsize my boat. Depression. Depression is a commonly accepted form of grief. In fact, most people associate depression immediately with grief, as it is a present emotion. It represents the emptiness we feel when we are living in reality and realize that the person or situation is gone or over. In this stage, you might withdraw from life, feel numb, live in a fog, and not want to get out of bed. The world might seem too much and too overwhelming for you to face. You don't want to be around others, don't feel like talking, and experience feelings of hopelessness. You might even experience suicidal thoughts, thinking, what's the point of going on? To be completely honest, I did not allow depression a foothold in my life for the sake of my children. I am all they have. I can't afford to get depressed. Whether this is good or bad, I have no idea. Acceptance. The acceptance stage is not thinking that it's okay that my husband abused me, but rather, my husband abused me, but I am going to be okay. In this stage, your emotions may begin to stabilize. You re-enter reality. You come to terms with the fact that the new reality is that your partner is not going to change, and you have accepted that. It's not a good thing, but it's something you have accepted, and you are willing to move on with your own life. It is definitely a time of adjustment and readjustment. There are good days, there are bad days, and then there are good days again. In this stage, it does not mean you'll never have another bad day where you are uncontrollably sad, but the good days tend to outnumber the bad days. In this stage, you may lift from your fog. You start to engage with friends again, and might even make new relationships as time goes on. You understand that your relationship with your partner is over, and you move, grow, and evolve into your new reality.